Alhamdulillah. Fa'awzu billahi minash shaitani rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ati'u Allah, ati'u Rasul, ulul amri minkum. And always a reminder for myself, ana abdukal ajiz da'ifo, miskino, zalimu, jahal, and but for the grace of Allah that we are still in existence. We took a path to be nothing, and as much as we can move to nothingness, we can enter into Allah's Divinely grace and rahmah, the eternal binary code. And as much as this dunya wants us to be something, as much as it pulls us away from Allah's Divinely presence. The perfection of insan and the gift of nubuwwah and risalat. This perfection of humanity that would grant them prophecy and messengership, and that had to do with the perfection of their face. Means that Allah granted a perfection within the crown of their creation of their face, and the attributes that open the face, the perfection of their khuluq and character granted them to represent Divinely presence. Allah created a face that would eternally represent His Divinely realities. The face of Allah can never be seen and will never be seen. Its reality is a dress and reflection upon the holy face of Sayyidina Muhammad wajhikal kareem. When we say Rasul Kareem and all these naat and all these praisings from Kalam al-awliya, they're teaching us that what magnificence comes from this light, the source light. That if that Divinely face should appear before the servant, all other lights are lost. This is the source file. Everything else becomes insignificance in the presence of that light, and all of creation is in search of that light in its wujud and its reality. That holy face of Prophet is a reflection from La ilaha illallah, that Allah is reflecting upon that reality, because Allah has no likeness. And created creation and my likeness is in representation to Prophet. Means the immensity of that holy face, that power face, and the blessings that all creation tried to achieve from that reality. Means Sami al-Basir, that their ears dressed with their face dressed with 7 holy openings from Allah. As-Sami al-Basir, Alim al-Qadir wa Nur al-Hayy. These attributes, what Allah granted as a gift to the face of Sayyidina Muhammad in the world of light. Those attributes, depending upon how it dressed the Prophets of Bani Israel, granted them their abilities to be under nubuwwah or risalat. Either they reaffirmed a message upon earth or they delivered the new message upon earth. This was their categories. But had to do with the dress of these 7 essences upon their reality. Means the perfection of our life and character is to achieve the crown to submit to Allah. And then what Allah grants the servant who submits, he brings the crown into the Divinely presence. This is why the pinnacle and the power of salah is in sujood, not in standing. Other nations left sujood and they stand. They can't bow down, shaitan lock their legs and don't let them. But the secret of salah is in sujood. Why? Because the only way Allah going to give you a crown is if you submit your crown in His Divinely presence. That in my presence you're nothing, Whatever I gave to you, didn't give to you, you're nothing in my presence. So they go into sujood and Allah is closest to the servant in sujood, because it's the pinnacle of humility and the heart is up at its highest point. And qalb al-mu'min baytullah, the house of Allah has to be high and your maghz and brain has to be down, humble in front of Allah. Now it's the reverse, they put their heart down, put their head up. That's called pride and arrogance. But Allah's system is completely different. If you learn to bring yourself down, put your pride and arrogance down, whatever you think your head knows, your eyes have seen, your ears have heard, it's nothing. Put your head down. If you take the path in putting your head down and going into sujood and telling yourself, I'm nothing ya Rabbi, an abdukal ajiz da'if, miskeen, zalim and jahal, I have admitted to all of them. Why you have to beat me to prove that? Why you have to test me to prove that? I've already admitted that to you ya Rabbi. So they took a life of humble, put their head down. If you put your head down in life and we put the ego down, Allah when He gives the command, because the heart now is up, right? The Baytullah has to be high, not the Bayt of shaitan, because the people whom have ego, the head is the house of shaitan, always fighting the heart and attacking the heart. Means our greatest jihad, our greatest fight is against the head. That Allah has to be in my heart, the love of Sayyidina Muhammad has to be in my heart. Can you put the love of Allah in your heart but not the love of Sayyidina Muhammad? No fight, shaitan will defeat you. Means that the presence of Prophet has to come into the heart of the believer to support them, to encourage them so that they can worship Allah and that they can fight shaitan. And that's what we call jihad al-nafs, that they fight themselves, they fight the bad desire they're trying to enter into their heart, they fight the arrogance of their head, their eyes and their ears. Says, no matter what I'm seeing and hearing, it's all but an illusion from shaitan. Now much more sophisticated illusions are coming. So I swore I saw it. CGI, what was it that you saw? Was it really what you saw? So the turuqs carry that reality that come with us. Take a path of sujood, put your head down. You want to meditate at night? Put your head down. You want to talk to Allah, put your head down. You want to admit to Allah your weakness and that you have no power, you put your head down. And the heart rises and the house of Allah is always up. If Allah should find satisfaction in that servant and that light begins to enter into the heart, the light of Islam, the light of Iman, the light of maqam al-ihsan, what happens? Allah says, now I'll raise your head. Our life was to keep our head down, but when Allah wants to raise the head He dresses it. I'm going to dress your face with my attributes from the presence of Prophet. Means Allah's dress and command upon Sayyidina Muhammad with all their salawats and all their practices. Prophet will begin to lift their head. You understood your life was to keep your head down, you understood the authority of that kingdom.